You sit on the couch, she cries about him. You hand her a tissue while listening to the same story she told you last week, wondering why your endless patience never translates into romance. But the real answer is far stranger. You are not in the friend zone because you are too nice. You are there because your brain is broadcasting the wrong evolutionary signal. Why does your kindness trigger her platonic radar? You believe the friend zone is a punishment. You think she trapped you. The human brain categorizes every individual into a rigid matrix of reproductive prospects and cooperative allies, and you accidentally triggered the wrong protocol. You became a pseudo-kin. How did your attempt at love build a biological wall? To understand this, you must look past modern dating complaints. You must look at the Pleistocene epoch. Your ancestors did not navigate complex social circles. They navigated the brutal reality of the savannah. In that environment, survival depended on accurate social categorization. The brain needed to instantly know who was a mate, who was a rival, and who was a resource. When you behave purely as a supportive confidant, you do not trigger her mating circuitry. You trigger her resource extraction circuitry. You are not being rejected. You are being utilized. Why does your brain mistake utilization for connection? Let us examine the first mistake, the boundary failure. You agree with her opinions, you laugh at her jokes, you never disagree. You think you are building rapport, but the real answer is far stranger. You are signaling low genetic fitness. In evolutionary psychology, this violates the principle of competitive altruism. This is the biological drive to gain status by taking social risks and enforcing boundaries. When you never disagree, you signal that you are afraid of social conflict. Her ancestral brain reads this fear. It assumes you cannot protect a tribe from predators. A male who cannot enforce social boundaries cannot enforce physical boundaries. Why does your constant agreement signal physical weakness? The second mistake is the pseudo-kin categorization. You listen to her problems, you give her advice, you act like a harmless confidant. You think you are building emotional intimacy, but the real answer is far stranger. You are triggering an incest avoidance mechanism. This is called the pseudo-kin heuristic. This is a mental shortcut where the brain categorizes non-sexual, highly supportive individuals as genetic relatives. In the ancestral environment, helping a sibling ensured your shared genes survived. When you provide endless emotional support without sexual tension, her brain files you under brother. The brain actively suppresses sexual arousal towards pseudo-kin to prevent inbreeding. You built a bond of kinship. Why did your emotional support trigger her biological incest alarm? The third mistake is the absence of mate choice copying. You spend all your free time with her. You ignore other women. You make her your sole focus. You think you are showing devotion. But the real answer is far stranger. You are destroying your perceived mate value. This violates a biological rule called mate choice copying. This is the evolutionary habit of evaluating a mate based on who has already chosen them. In the ancestral savannah, a male surrounded by other interested females signaled high genetic quality. When you isolate yourself with only her, her brain assumes no other females want you. She subconsciously wonders what is wrong with you. You removed your social proof. Why did your exclusive focus make you look genetically defective? The fourth mistake is the provider trap. You provide stability, you offer resources, you act as a reliable safety net for her survival. You think you are offering the ultimate provider value, but the real answer is far stranger. You are triggering a biological backup plan. This is called the dual mating strategy. This is an evolutionary mechanism where a female secures resources from a safe male while seeking genetic fitness from a high-status male. When you offer pure provision without sexual polarity, her brain uses you for survival security. She allocates her sexual desire elsewhere. You became the safety net. Why did your provider instincts trigger her biological backup plan? Here is the counterintuitive twist. The brutal truth is not that she is manipulative. The brutal truth is that she is biologically rational. You cannot negotiate genuine sexual desire. Desire requires friction. It requires polarity. It requires the risk of loss. When you remove all risk, you remove all desire. You made yourself completely safe. But safety is the enemy of arousal. The ancestral brain does not feel arousal for a safe, harmless provider. It feels arousal for a competent protector who could be dangerous but chooses not to be. You chose to be harmless. You became a resource. How does the removal of risk destroy the foundation of attraction? You carry this ancestral hardware into the modern world. You sit in coffee shops. You listen to her talk about a man who ignores her. You feel the familiar ache in your chest. You want to tell her you are right there, but your thumb hovers over your phone. You remember the Pleistocene. You remember the mate value matrix. You put the phone in your pocket. You stand up. You tell her you have to leave. You walk out the door. You feel a shift in your own posture. You are no longer a cooperative ally. You are a man enforcing a boundary. How does remembering your ancient past rewrite your modern behavior? You sit on the couch. She cries about him. You do not hand her a tissue. You look at her. You tell her she needs to respect herself. She stops crying. The temperature in the room changes. You did not just reject the friend zone. You spoke the ancient language of biological polarity.